Welcome to the Empower Good Christian Leadership Podcast. I am your host, Dwight Clow, and I am joined in the studio today by Kenton Sorensen. I'm so excited to be talking with you because you and your wife, Marlene, are up to something fantastic for the kingdom. And I really want this podcast to be about the power of saying yes to God. Yeah. What happens when someone says yes to God? And I think you are going to have a marvelous answer to that question, so I can't wait to just dive into it. Let's just start. Tell us a little bit about yourself, you and Marlene, and about your ministry, if you would, please.
Yeah, we are the co-founders of Zeteo Community, Z as in zebra, E-T-E-O. Zateo is just simply a Greek word that means to seek in order to find. For instance, Matthew 6, when Jesus said, seek first the kingdom of God and all these other things will be added to you as well. The Greek word was Zateo, first the kingdom of God. So it sounds kind of a exotic word, but it's actually very simple meaning, which, yeah, he Zateo'd us, and we Zateo'd him. And here we are.
Fantastic. And can you tell us a little bit about where you're going with your ministry, what it's all about, who you serve, and so on?
Yeah, we work with women that have come out of sex trafficking and maybe sometimes still in it. And also, if they have children, we help them as well. We are currently building it's actually a small campus in Dane County outside of Madison. And 2 large residential homes, one for women without children, one for women with children, and then a building that's called the Commons Building that is going to be where we're at during the day, like offices, eating areas, classroom, all kinds of stuff. And then a horse barn. There'll be some equine therapy too as well. But we're about halfway done. We need to raise more funds, of course. We're not borrowing money, and we're not taking any government grants. So it's all been private donations.
Sweet. Wow. So, and that's a big project. I'm sure with the cost of real estate and construction and all of that today, it's not cheap financially, and it's a big project for the kingdom as well. Yeah. So can you tell us the story of how this came about, how you got started doing what you're doing?
Well, actually, it started probably, 10, 11 years ago, I think. Marlene, my wife, was asked to take a trip to Maui, which by her cousin who had to go there on business, and her cousin just had surgery. So she paid for Marlene to go to Maui. And so Maui went, and then our daughter-in-law asked her, or lent Marlene a book, and Marlene read it on, gazing at the ocean, by Francine Rivers, called Redeeming Love. And it really impacted Marlene. And she said God just spoke to her about it. It's a very good book. It's a fiction. It takes place in the 1800s, but it's patterned after the book of Hosea. And he helps this woman who's being prostituted and so forth. And but at the end it has a house and classrooms and for these women, and it really spoke to Marlene. And so that just was the beginning of the journey, and we've learned so much in the process. It's been quite a few years, and the Lord is preparing us, and we're so glad that it hasn't happened any sooner, because we are still learning. He is building the infrastructure right now, the unseen part, and we've been working on that for a long time. And we keep joking with ourselves, like, oh, it's so good that all the money didn't come in sooner. Because we didn't know what we needed. The unseen stuff, the staffing and all the different parts that have to fit into place. And even some of the I mean, we were aware of the problems in Dane County. We weren't totally aware. And we're just learning, even just recently, that how dark it is here.
I think you bring up a really important point, and that is we get a dream from God, we get a download, and we see something that we'd like to go after, and we want it, for many of us, we want it to happen yesterday.
Right.
And God, in his wisdom, says, no, you just take me by the hand, and we will go step by step, and not too fast, not too slow. And I have a friend who is a pastor of a church in Chicago with multiple campuses, about 30,000 people. And one of the things that he recently posted is that when he's gotten in trouble in ministry, it's either trying to get out in front of God or lagging behind God. It's just stay in step with God. And so what you're saying is it just resonates with me. And I think it's so powerful for our listeners who have a sense, God is calling me to do this. And why isn't it happening sooner? Or just staying in step with God.
Yeah.
So
he does that for our own protection too, because we have seen organizations like ours, and we were tempted to do this at the beginning, just rent a big house, put some women in there, help them out. And those usually crash and burn very quickly. And that's probably true for a lot of ministries. If you go ahead of God, it'll crash and burn. He knows what he's doing.
Lots of wisdom from experience.
Right.
Probably for both of us.
Yeah. We've seen a lot of it.
Oh, yes. So tell us about your vision. What does mission accomplished look like?
Ultimately, that the culture will change, and we believe it can be abolished.
We're talking sex trafficking.
Sex trafficking,
here.
yes.
Yeah.
We're not we don't want to be a Band-Aid organization. And I know that, of course, it's not just up to us, Zateo, but the body of Christ collectively. I don't think we realize how much power and authority we actually have been given. And it's all usually about what we say, I mean, what we allow. I keep thinking about those verses in Matthew 16 when Jesus takes a big trip to Caesarea Philippi with his disciples, way out of the way. And it's the most occultic, abusive, demonic place in Israel at the foot of Mount Hermon. And they literally called it the gate of hell. And it was very pagan and very sadistic, very sexual. He takes them there and he says, so who do people say I am? And they go, well, some say you're Elijah, some say you're this or that, you're John the Baptist. And go, who do you say I am? Peter says, well, you're the Christ, the Son of the living God. Okay, Peter, on that rock I'll build my Ekklesia, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. And whatever you loose on heaven will be loose on earth, will be loose in heaven, will be bind on earth. Anyway. And
that really gives a new perspective to that passage.
Yeah. And why he took him to the darkest place. He could have just taken him to the nice temple courtyard, But no, he took him to the most dark place and told him that. I love first century history. I have for years. And, the word Ekklesia was borrowed. It was a secular term. It was not a Christian term. It was not a religious term. It was a form of democratic, secular local government, like a town hall, like a legislative council.
And just for our viewers, Ekklesia, I think you mentioned it already, is where we get our word church.
Correct.
So, yes.
And it was like Knights at the Round Table. People were called out to sit there, and usually at the gate, and they decided what goes on in their town and what doesn't go on in their town. And that's the way he describes the governmental structure of his people and their commission. And it's a spiritual congress, actually. And it's all about, well, words, just like in Genesis, he said, "Let there be." First Genesis 1, he gives Adam and Eve, humankind's first mandate was to have dominion over the earth, basically to bring order out of chaos and beauty and so forth. And they were to expand the garden, right? But they got swindled out of it, as we all know. And he's restored it back, and the first couple of verses of Genesis where he says the earth was formless and void. It means tohu and bohu in the Hebrew, which is chaotic and dysfunctional. And then he starts saying the let there be's. And he brought order and beauty and function into the earth. And he told us to do the same thing. And everything we do as our occupation, we're either bringing beauty, order, abundance, or function. All of our jobs fall into one of those categories, right? And
I love it.
And that's what we do. And the enemy's greatest tool is our silence when we don't say anything. When we don't agree, we have to agree and then say it. I think that the voice of the Ekklesia determines what a region can or cannot do. And the region is a reflection of what we voice from whether pulpits or writing or whatever we do. We're actually giving permission by our silence many times. And yeah.
Well, this just dovetails so nicely with the Empowered Good vision. Just central to our thinking is our world is messed up. God is fixing things. We get to help. And you're describing, I think, a very important and underrated and overlooked way in which we get to make a difference in this world.
Right.
And we're called to make disciples of all nations. And that means we're going to change the earth. Right. The early church turned the world upside down, and we're here to do the same. And I guess it's just been an obsession of mine for many years is why isn't the church making a bigger difference in our culture? And I think you've helped to identify a big, big reason for that.
We self-censor way too much. Yeah, because we don't want to stir things up.
That's good. That's good. Lots to chew on.
We'll see how much we stir up today.
I love it. What's unique or maybe a little different about your approach, maybe compared to others who are wrestling with the same set of issues?
That's a good question. We have community is in our name. The community piece is very vital with us. And we consult, we're tied in nationally with a lot of like-minded faith-based organizations like ourselves that do the same kind of work. And they've been in it, they all been in it a lot longer than we have. And they love our philosophy. And we're fortunate because we're starting from scratch. They, we don't have to turn the ship around. We're still just kind of launching from the dock. But we treat spirit, soul, body, right? one of our tagline is hope, healing, and homes. Hope is our spirit. Healing is our soul, and homes, right, is our body, our physical needs. And we privately, I guess, we amongst ourselves, we call ourselves a transformation center. I mean, that's kind of a high goal, but we believe if there is no spiritual transformation, that the soul transformation really won't be accomplished fully. We don't want them to spend the rest of their lives in therapy. I mean, we're going to provide the therapies, all those things, but we want it to be a temporary thing, not a permanent thing. And we have met women that you would never guess that they had been trafficked before. This is in other states that we know. You could sit down and talk with these gals. You would think that they were married to a surgeon living in the suburbs and their kids are perfect. And it's just that God has done such a spiritual, complete work in them, not just a patch-up job, that they are literally new people. I mean, literally new people. You would never guess that they had a past like that. You would never guess in a million years. They're the best ones in this kind of ministry because they've been there and they've been spiritually transformed. And we know that the soul, can take some time. I've kind of have a new theory. When the Bible in Romans talks about the flesh, sarx, right? S-A-R-X in Greek, the flesh. It talks about walking in the spirit or walking in the flesh. Well, I think the flesh is the soul and the body combined. We're finding out that the body also has a will. The body also has a memory. The body has a mind of its own. It wants potato chips, 9:00 at night. You know what I mean? The body does. But we also have a spirit, and our spirit, the moment we believe, we're connected. Our soul has to catch up. Might take a lifetime, probably will. And our soul is not really who we are. It's a basket of bad and good habits, bad and good thinking, just a mix of what you've experienced and been taught and so forth. And, but your spirit is 100% righteous the moment you believe. It's,
one of the things that I love about what you're saying, Kenton, is that God knows what he's doing, and he can transform us completely. And one of the things that's been, I don't know if exasperating is the right word, but just difficult for me to see is how many Christians have no idea how God transforms.
right.
Just no clue
Yeah.
what's possible and what's available. And so, I'm hoping that you and I and others can make that more readily available to the body of Christ, that, you don't have to live with, with what you're living with. God is able to do way above what we could ask or imagine.
If we knew the gift of righteousness, which is a pillar of Protestant theology, if you look it up, imputed righteousness, if you look it up, very seldom talked about today because it was talked about more in the 70s when my wife and I became Christians. Day one of our Christian faith, many times we're told, okay, now you got to roll up your sleeves and work hard at becoming righteous. The word says you are righteous today. From today on, you work, you grow in assurance, and the performance will automatically follow. yes, we have to have discipline. The Lord gives us a love for his word because he loves his word. And if we have the Spirit of Christ in us from day one, we're going to love his word and we're going to crave it. Nobody has to tell you, you must read 15 minutes a day,
Like it's some kind of punishment.
Right. It's like telling someone like, you must drink a cup of coffee every day. No. You don't have to do that. But we are to grow in assurance.
Mm.
And many times we're told to grow in performance, trying to get assurance. That's not the gospel message.
Oh boy. I'm biting my tongue, Kenton, because
Oh,
we
go ahead.
go off on a 45-minute tangent here, but you are so right. So right. Coming back to your ministry,
Yeah.
where do you hope to be in 5 years?
We hope to be having 2 or 3 more of these built. We believe this one is a prototype, and that's why it's taking so long.
You're getting the DNA right.
Yeah. Yeah. We've been told many times to people in this ministry from other places that you need to expand it. So,
Well, there's certainly no shortage of need out there.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, it's like throwing a starfish back into the ocean, right? It's
As in the starfish story, it makes a difference to this one.
right. And it's just a drop in the bucket of the need. I mean, law enforcement can't wait for us to open because, the need is so great. It'll fill up immediately. We are to address moral issues. And if we don't, they become societal issues. Then they become cultural issues. Or I should say, maybe it's moral issues, cultural issues, societal issues, and then they become political. And then somewhere down the line, we're told you're not supposed to talk about those things because we neglected to address it in the very beginning, right? And we have to give people the freedom that comes with the gospel to take away the need. Now, the very thing about the righteousness gospel, it kind of took away the desire for things that were bad for you. It just took it away. I mean, the day I committed my life to Christ, I heard the gospel, and I must have heard something about the righteousness part that I was not only justified, which has to do with the things you've done, but with the righteousness thing, has to do with who you are, your identity. I was seriously addicted. I had serious addictions, hard addictions, narcotics, all kinds of stuff. Tried to quit many, many times. And I gave my life to Christ that day and I walked home. It was a nice day. I walked 10 blocks home back to my apartment. And I got home and I discovered all my addictions were gone. And it wasn't even the big deal. I was so excited about being a new person that the addictions were like, I didn't ask for it. And I was told, I didn't tell this testimony for many years, decades, because people would tell me, you shouldn't tell people that because you're going to make them feel bad if they're struggling with addictions. Right? I said, well, yeah, I get that. But and then they said, because they might not have experienced the same miracle you did. Well, but you know what? It wasn't a miracle. It was a revelation. It was a revelation of the gospel. And I never struggled from that day forward with any of those addictions. It was zero struggle. And I discovered many other people who had the same experience. And even the atheist friends of mine all knew people who had that happen to, and they couldn't even refute it because it was such a common thing. I mean, I sympathize with people who do struggle. And it's no fault of their own. But there needs to be a culture, a Christian culture, where it just exudes from us like, this is possible. This is who you are now. You're a new person. You're not an old person trying to become better. You are a brand new person. Now you just got to live like it.
It's core to empower good. It's just Jesus transforms us. And my most recent book, The Blind School Bus Driver, a big part of it is about the difference between this judicial gospel that says, okay, Jesus died so that I don't need to go to hell, versus the transformational gospel, which says Jesus is here and everything has changed.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And yes, Jesus died for my sins, but it's so much bigger than that. Jesus is here and everything is different.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
and even the way the lens, which you view the world changes. All of a sudden,
yes.
He's in charge, and it's not a scary place. It doesn't have to be a scary place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good. So, coming back to your role as a ministry leader, what have you learned from other leaders in your journey? And I know you've been more than just this this ministry. You've been in Christian ministry for many years, but what have you learned from other leaders?
Oh, I've learned something from every one of them because, everyone has different strengths. My spiritual gift is a teacher and not pastoral. And I'm like, you're just not thinking straight, And I'm always impressed by people who are pastoral. They're just so loving and kind and compassionate, And I want some of that to rub off on me, They're patient, and I've learned so much. So everyone has like faith for some things. It is contagious. Doubt is also very contagious. But I try to hang around where my faith lacks. I try to hang around people who are strong in that area. Like if they have a faith for like their daily needs or finances or whatever, like, yeah, I want some of that. I'm going to hang around you, um, and because we are called to encourage one another. We're called to encourage each other daily, that's a challenge. We need to do that. I'm 71 right now, and I'm amazed how much I don't know, and I haven't learned, and that's okay. And I'm just coming to realize, like, I don't know stuff. You know what I mean? I think I know stuff. I don't know stuff. I have opinions.
Like part of wisdom is figuring out how much you don't know.
Right. Right.
Let me ask another question, Kenton. You've been around the block and lots of experience. What's been the hardest season for you in ministry, and what have you learned from it?
I guess getting built up. I was so busy in my career that I didn't have time to get really built up as much as I wanted. And the Lord knew that. And we all have an obligation, I guess, to build ourselves up in the faith, right? I mean, other people build us up, but we also have to build ourselves up. Again, it has nothing to do with our identity or our salvation. It has to do with building yourself, getting built up so that you can be a blessing to others. And I went through decades of working way too many hours, and I'd have these silent tantrums before God that why do I have to work so much? So I'd extend more hours to my day, and I would just have the same problem, just less time. But I think I went through decades, and your decades where you're raising your kids are, they're the busiest decades you'll ever have. You'll never be more busy than that. And so getting edified, and if you have a gift of teaching, it takes a lot of time. You need time. You need to know things and know God, and we need to get built up personally. When I was able to give up my last business under the Lord's direction, He had me read hours and hours a day for 6 years after that. And I loved it. And I didn't take notes because it was for me. It wasn't to regurgitate onto other people. It was to get built up so that I could be a blessing to other people.
I remember a message by Warren Heckman years ago. You see a leader when they're in the spotlight, when they're in the limelight, and what you don't see is everything that's happened before they got to be on stage.
Yeah.
And it's just the value of day after day after day, just seeking God. I have this practice where I just like to just go out and take a walk with God. And I feel that's my most important job. It's just to hang out with God and sometimes I do my regular prayer when I'm doing that, but not to really transact business or intercede or anything else, but just to be with God.
Yeah.
And
it's not about what we do. It's who we are. And growing in who we are.
Who you are.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. It's powerful. Well, let's focus in on your ministry. Who are you best positioned to help?
Well, I guess it's the women that don't have many choices. Some of them have been groomed into a situation. Usually all are groomed into a situation by a lot of times males, but sometimes even by their own mothers, by their own relatives. And they can be addicted. And the biggest fear is homelessness a lot of times, and that's what keeps them in it. Especially if they have a child or two. And so even though we're not able to take in residents, we do all we can in the meantime. But I guess it's people who have run out of options, except one really horrible one.
Right. How soon do you see yourself as being able to take on residents? Is that on the calendar yet, or
it's whenever the money comes in? It seems like we believe the Lord is gonna, when we're ready, the final wave is gonna come of finances. It usually comes in waves, and we need about another 4 million right now. We've spent about that much so far. And we're not good at fundraising. Never have. And so how did you get the 4 million? Like, God.
It's like, who was the guy that had the orphanage? Mueller?
Mueller.
Yeah.
George Mueller. Yeah. It's like that. Yeah. His books are very inspiring to me. So, but he's been very faithful. The Lord has, and his timing is perfect. We wouldn't mind government grants if it was just about accountability, but it goes beyond accountability, especially if you're faith-based. We know of an organization that they're faith-based and everything, and started out that way, and then they start taking these grants, and now they have to drive them to a church building before they can say the word Jesus to them, unless they're cursing. the women we help are never required to become believers like us. They're invited to at their own will when they want to. In the meantime,
Sure.
we love them and love them and love them.
For sure. For sure. Who do you want on your team?
Could always use more. People who aren't looking for significance by this. Like, I want to look good on Facebook, or I want to prove to myself I'm a good person, or I'm useful. Trying to be useful. Instead of just being obedient. And God will let you know if you should volunteer. We have excellent Trafficking 101 workshops that we do, so people can just listen and check out, see what's going on, even locally, like the issues and how to get involved. That's always a good first step.
Okay. So how can people who care about your ministry partner with you?
Well, always pray. You can volunteer. I mean, we have work days on the property where, roll up your sleeves and make the place look prettier in the middle of construction. And also, and to give, of course. We need money to finish the buildings, but we're trying to raise a base of monthly giving for operations as well. And that's always a need too. We're actually hiring some staff workers. We need to right now, even though we're not up and running because there's a lot going on. And that takes monthly giving.
Do you do a newsletter or anything?
Yep. People can go on our website and sign up for our quarterly newsletter. And you can sign up for a lot of things. We have a prayer list every month, I think.
Just a couple of wrap-up questions,
Yeah.
Kenton. What advice would you have for someone who wants to do the same kind of ministry that you are presently doing?
Well, make sure it's God. And talk to people, get educated about it, count the costs, because it can be a little bit it can be costly for your personal life. There's an abolition summit we're going to, but we go to it every year. This year it's in Houston this month, but it's growing like crazy, and it's all about this issue. But it's almost all about ourselves getting built up rather than how to. And but a conference like that is always good. Abolition Summit, it's called. Yeah. So get involved, be aware, and especially gravitate towards the faith-based, because we do have the solution, and we're a lot more hopeful than ones who aren't faith-based, because we do see light at the end of the tunnel. We really do.
Right. God provides transformation that is, as you said earlier, isn't available elsewhere.
And not only personally, but also in our culture.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Well put.
Yeah.
Well put. What advice would you have for someone who is just looking to find and follow the call of God on their own life?
Surrender everything, all your own desires, and then He will ask you, okay, now what do you want to do? And he'll say, don't you trust me to give you the right desire after you've surrendered everything? Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. That is so good. It is a dance, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, God has plans, but we have desires, and he works together if, as you say, if we're first of all surrendered to him.
Yeah.
So it's all good stuff. Just powerful to think about what it means when we say yes to God and what can change. And as you say, the whole culture can change. And this thing that is such a big thing right now, this Goliath can be slain.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's not looking for the best and the brightest. He's looking for those who are all in.
Yeah.
Right? Just
big difference.
Yeah, just all in. As you are, but just all in.
And just imagine how our world would change if we were all in.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Kenton, this has been fantastic. This has been wonderful stuff. Any final thoughts you'd like to leave with our listeners before we leave?
If the Lord is tugging on your heart, visit our website and communicate with us and find out more. And just keep seeking the Lord, and he'll guide you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you all for watching and listening, and have a fantastic day.